Hey, good morning, friends. How we doing today? You feeling good? You feeling right? Maybe you're tired from watching that big Super Bowl football game last night. Maybe your team won, maybe they lost. But it's Monday. Are you ready to get after it? Or are you struggling a little bit? Either way, I'm here to help. My name is Jonathan Dugan. I do real estate with Coldwell Banker Professionals in Michigan, but I also have spent a lot of time learning the things that can help us have a positive mental attitude, that can help us be productive human beings, and help give us some basic joy in life. And you all know I love some joy, so let's get after it today. I First of all, want to thank a few people. Now, all of you are in my heart, and thank you so much. But a few of you have reached out recently, and I just want to thank Colin and Will for regularly watching and regularly sending me feedback. I want to send a big thank you out to Jess for showing up last week and doing that awesome Memories of the Mundane video. And all of you, my friends Steve, Melissa, Spencer, Sloan, Will, the people who talk to me in person, the people who send me comments. You guys are great. Thank you. It makes it worth doing it. Makes me feel like I'm making an impact. And I love the stuff you guys send back to me. It's great. It's inspired me. Will, I'm working on those atomic habits. And I appreciate all the insight and conversation that we get to have because it improves me and hopefully it helps you. Anyways, you would think we're going to talk about gratitude today. We're not. Actually, we are going to pivot from something that Jess said last week during our talk about memories from the mundane and roll that into other ways that we can use her suggestions in different attributes of life, not just in dealing with the routine. Now, jump back. How many of you did some skipping last week? I did a ton of skipping, and I got to tell you, anytime you're feeling like you're in a bad mood, I highly suggest you grab your coat, you go outside, and you skip. It is nearly impossible to skip and frown. And yes, you'll look silly, but whatever. Life is full of silliness. Let's have some. Let's make some on purpose. Anyways, jumping back. Sorry, squirrel. We are going to talk a little bit about relationships. Now, we're social creatures as human beings, and there's different relationships that we have through our life. And I am not addressing toxic relationships here today. If you feel like you're in a toxic relationship, please, seek the help you need. If you feel like you are a toxic person, please seek the help you need. I'm more talking about our regular relationships with people we know and love, and we want to keep those relationships going, right? Our spouse, our kids, our friends, our family, and we can address toxic people some other time, but this is more about how to maintain those relationships and how to keep a positive attitude about the people in your life, because the people in your life are important. Now, one of the things that Jess was talking about last week is when you go through life, and we've talked about it before, your brain catalogs those negative events, right? It's a strategy for survival. You burn your hand on the stove, you catalog that event, but you don't remember the thousands of meals you may have made on that stove without burning your hand. You only remember a few. Well, when we're in a situation that feels negative, what Jess said is to, okay, take that, accept it, understand it, process it, but then take some time to focus in on the positive parts that we might not be seeing, to reframe it, to rewire our brains to see the positivity, right? Well, that is something that we need to do in our relationships, especially the ones we want to keep. Look, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to say things that are hurtful, and people are going to make mistakes, and they are going to say things that are hurtful. Your friends are going to do things that you disagree with sometimes. And maybe you grow apart because of it, and maybe that's necessary. But overall, if they've been your friends for a while, there's some positive things there that you need to remember. Your family, your parents, your kids, they're not necessarily intentionally going out of their way to make you feel hurt, okay? If you've surrounded yourself with people you know and love, and people that have been positive influences in your life for most of your life, they're still going to make mistakes. So when they make those mistakes, when they become difficult to deal with, when they say something that's hurtful, you have some choices. You can internalize that and bury it and wait for it to come out in some other weird way. You can deal with it head on and try to tell them how to live their lives. Or you can show some empathy, try to understand where they're coming from, try to understand if they understand what they did was hurtful, or if this is a mistake they can learn from and not repeat. But the other thing we can do to help make sure we keep those people in a positive light is digest that negative stuff. But as Jess suggested, take a minute. Remember all the positive things. Remember all the fun things you've done. Yes, they did something stupid. But is one stupid thing worth erasing years of good things? If that person has been there for you, maybe in a tough time, you want to make sure you remember that, because you don't want to be just wasting relationships. There is a loneliness epidemic in our society. And it's partially because we don't know how to value those relationships in a way that we can get through the hard times and get out the other side, and the relationship will be better for it. Now, again, toxicity, that's a totally different ballgame. But if you're trying to maintain relationships over a long period of time and something negative happens, I want you to try to process that. But then while you're processing it, remember why this person is important to you. Remember the great things that have happened too. And then act accordingly, okay? Because that is going to bring you a great amount of joy in your life. Unless you, of course, want to live in a cave, which is cool. Go do that. That's fine. I got no problem with that. Anyways, this week, while you're going through your week, I challenge you, whether you run into anybody negative or not, think about the people you love in your life. Think about the people who've had a good influence in your life. Think about the positive things they've done. And if you haven't talked to them in a while, give them a call. Shoot them a text. And maybe if you've been holding off on doing something like that with a close friend or a relative or something because something negative happened, consider your options. Is it worth losing that person over one negative thing? Or when you catalog all the positive things that have happened, maybe it's time to make that phone call. Maybe it's time to send that text. Maybe it's time to get together. People make this world great, they make it silly, and they make it hard. But if we focus on that positive stuff, they can really make it great overall. I hope you have a great day. I hope that you are able to be positive. I hope you do some skipping. And as you go through the week, I hope you remember some of the positive and awesome relationships that you have. Catalog those positive events and maybe even reach out to a few of those people and see what it does for your week. Make it a great day. Be good to your neighbors. We're all neighbors. And I will see you on the flippity flip.